You know, it's pretty bad when Variety is calling out Stephen Colbert for overstaying his welcome, for saying that his goodbye went from being the resistance, the political resistance, to being an ego trip for Stephen Colbert. And it is kind of embarrassing to watch some of these clips. Stephen Colbert is, of course, leaving. His contract is not being renewed by CBS. And I don't think he wants to stay anyway because he's not allowed to spout off about his political opinions on the network. I'm sure this guy will wind up someplace else pretty damn quick. I mean, everybody's like, Stephen Colbert is going away forever. No, he's not. He'll probably not be at CBS anymore, but I'm sure he'll go to another streaming service like Netflix, or he'll wind up with a podcast deal. Like, Stephen Colbert is not going anywhere. This guy knows he's not going anywhere. Whatever. He's ending his CBS show. See also Conan O'Brien. See also, he probably will wind up. I'm calling it now. I think he's going to wind up on Conan O'Brien's podcast network, and I think he'll actually do pretty well over there. But Variety. And this is a very pro Stephen Colbert outlet, is saying that his message has gone from resistance. Of course, they tried to say that Trump got them canceled. That's not actually what happened. Low ratings and big budgets got them canceled. Just being very political, threw some kerosene on the fire, made it a lot easier, the decision a lot easier, right? But they said it's become an ego trip. Now, it's actually painful to watch the goodbye. And the way that they're sending this guy off, I mean, they're treating him like Johnny Carson. And Johnny Carson was on for decades, and he was an institution. Colbert is not an institution. I'm sorry. You can like Colbert. He's all right. You know, I used to watch him, but he's gotten more and more political. Actually, what did it for me was that vaccine dance. I'm like, this is the most cringe thing, I think. I mean, this is awful. I'm out. I'm not even going to give the guy a chance anymore. Like, I can't watch his crap. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Variety. Stephen Colbert's long late show goodbye has gone from resistance to ego trip. So earlier this week, John Lithgow appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and did something that guests on the show have been doing a lot lately. He paid extensive tribute to the host. Lithgow was so troubled by the idea that Colbert is leaving CBS after 10 years. Again, Johnny Carson, decades, plural, decades, American institution. So yeah, it's fair that they pay tribute to Johnny Carson. The cancellation has the appearance of Paramount's new leadership trying to curry favor with the Trump administration. Again, not exactly what happened. He wrote a poem entitled The Mighty Colbert, and he honored these sublime masterworks that are Colbert's monologues that, he totally writes himself. Let's go out and see this tribute to Colbert. Hopefully we don't get dinged for this, but here's John Lithgow paying tribute to Stephen Colbert, and this is what apparently irritated Variety enough to write this article.
It's called The Mighty Colbert.
The Mighty Colbert. Oh, yeah, I know.
The time has arrived for us all to prepare for the doleful departure of Stephen Colbert. How will we last in the gaping black hole that's left in the absence of this merry soul?
Merry? Okay. All right.
For a decade of late night and 9 years before of satirical japes on the Colbert Report, we've been lavished with laughter for 20 straight years from the genius between Stephen's two mismatched ears.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny.
Why does his exit stir up such despair? What mysterious magic imbues late night's air?
He's going to go get a podcast deal and make money out the derriere. I wouldn't worry about it. He's going to make a lot more money, I think.
Stephen's wit is the source of his lunatic art, his intelligence, wisdom, compassion, and heart.
Fart.
These are the virtues that bring out the best in even his gravest, most humorless guest.
Have Trump on. Have Trump on.
His monologues, though, with their slap-happy quirks, have clearly been Stephen's
How long is this
sublime
damn thing?
masterworks.
How long is this?
Each one is a targeted rotten tomato, bookended by music from Batiste and Cato.
Okay. All right. Oh, no. Here. Why is he canceled? Why is he canceled? Okay.
So why is he canceled? Why trash all that pleasure? Why yank off the air this beloved national treasure?
Beloved national. If he was a beloved national treasure, Mr. Lithgow, with all due respect, his ratings would be a hell of a lot better. This guy is not Johnny Carson. I'm sorry.
Stephen's tale is a lesson for all who come after. Beware of a boss with thin skin and no laughter. But don't mourn for Stephen. He's going to be fine. He'll only get better, like aging fine wine. With a talent so rich and discernment so rare, there's much more to come from the mighty Colbert.
Yeah, they all know this guy's getting a podcast deal. He's getting a podcast deal. He's going to probably make more money than he was making at CBS. But it's pretty wild to actually see Variety. To actually see Variety being like, yeah, this is this is a little too much, right? They said by this point in his lame duck tenure, hold on, I can't get past the ads on Variety. Colbert is likely accustomed to endless fawning from his guest, Bette Midler, who performed on Johnny Carson's final episode, saying a satirical rewrite of Wind Beneath My Wings, which I believe she sang for Johnny Carson too, in tribute with Colbert, rhyming, "You stand for what's right with wit and class, and you never kiss the orange ass." Drew Barrymore restaged her famous striptease on Letterman's iteration of The Late Show, this time whipping off a blazer to reveal a shirt emblazoned with "We Heart Stephen." Unfortunately, both Midler and Barrymore coming up with new versions of their legendary late-night moments only reminds the viewer how much more juice the format used to have. Ouch! Ouch, yeah, so they're doing the same shticks that they did for Letterman and Carson. But it's like, it's a watered down version of it. Kind of like, I mean, I'm not trying to, throw shit. I like Elton John. I'm not trying to throw shit at Elton John, but when Princess Diana died, he like repurposed a song for her. It's like, oh, okay. I got to come up with a new song. Oh, I can't do that. Jimmy Fallon covered Frank Sinatra's My Way with new lyrics about My Way. Oh my God. You did it your way. Colbert's removal from the air. Oh my gosh, the ads. Colbert's removal from the air when it was announced last July was legit seismic news for the industry and for an audience who saw him as a crucial vote for the anti-Trump resistance since the 2016 election. The timing of the news, though, meant Colbert had an entire final season to play out with all parties, from writers and producers to hosts and guests, knowing that the end was near. This differentiates it from the brief period when the Tonight Show host Conan O'Brien's job was in limbo during the O'Brien-Jay Leno succession crisis. Then the precariousness and uncertainty of the situation gave the show incredible tension and voltage. We know how that ended up. But Conan's doing fine. Jay's doing fine. They're both doing fine. Again, Conan has a podcast network. I would be very surprised if Colbert did not wind up on his podcast or on Netflix. What ended up making it to air has been an increasingly puffy tribute to the show's own host, the endless bouquets being tossed Colbert's way, having started to make the studio smell a bit cloying. Granted, these are Colbert's guests having an emotional response to a host they liked being removed from air, and what seems to be in an unfair way proved new Paramount, I can't get past these ads. These Paramount CEO David Ellison's Trumpiest bona fides amidst Skydance Paramount's merger reminds one of how many other institutions are caving right now. But they're even saying, like, look, we don't agree with him being taken off the air, but what the hell? This is over the top. This tone necessarily comes from the top. Guests generally don't just show up on talks. talk shows and spontaneously do whatever they want. Their appearances are choreographed in concert with the show's production team. In a pre-interview, a producer might have gently guided Lithgow away from creating the spectacle of forcing Colbert to sit and smile while being called a national treasure, given that he's already been tributed several times already. Watching the show, one doesn't get the sense Colbert really minds. Yes. In a small revealing moment in his interview of Jimmy Kimmel, another host who faced blowback and career consequences, Colbert asked who Kimmel heard from when news of his being pulled from the air broke. Before waiting for Kimmel's answer, Colbert enthusiastically volunteered that he himself, upon his cancellation, received texts from James Taylor, George R.R. Martin. His anger with CBS, which emerged during the strange incident of the Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico's interview being pulled from the air, is at least more interesting than his ever-growing awareness of how many of his fellow celebrities love him. And that's actually the worst thing. If you're a host, a talk show host, to be very aware of how important you think you are, because Hollywood loves this guy, right? They love going. No, let me strike that. They don't love this guy. They love his platform. They love going on his show to promote their shit, right? I will, in defense of, some of these guys, Jimmy Fallon doesn't seem like he's up his own ass as much as Kimmel and Colbert, but I think the general public is getting sick of it. I think this is a big reason why late night is dying. They're like, yeah, you really do love the attention. The cause of standing up for a comedian who may have been tossed aside for angering the regime is getting tied up in honoring Colbert, the celebrity, and it's starting to feel wearying. Colbert deserved better treatment from CBS, but watching one person beam while receiving laurel after laurel doesn't make the argument for his show's relevance, as it's frankly not very good TV, and for this relentlessly political host, not in touch with the concerns of people have been turning to The Late Show for its political perspective. Finally, there's the sheer pragmatic angle. Colbert will have a next act at some future point. Yeah, I guarantee you the guy's he's Netflix or a podcast. He's actually probably going to make more money. If I'm being honest here, he's going to make more money. For those who think he's too toxic for any corporation that may have business before Trump's Department of Justice to touch, well, presidential terms last 4 years, we've already made it through one. Colbert is only in his early 60s. When that day comes, won't it feel like an anticlimax after we've already spent the better part of a year celebrating him? That is crazy. To have Variety be like, would you stop sucking on Colbert already? Is the complaint that Colbert has become too insufferable for his own small resistance audience? This reads like an op-ed. This column was more insufferable than Colbert. Hard disagree. Garbage journalism, slow news day. Pfft. You sound like you're stuck in some 1940s wartime espionage thriller with Joan Crawford. What the fuck? Is this a joke article? Terrible article. Carrying water for fascists. Sound like for water for chocolate. Carrying water for fascists. He earned the right to do so. No, he was only on for 10. He was on 10 years before that. Comedy Central. It's like, look, he's going to go do something else. This is just the end of his CBS thing. Danny don't get it, or he has an agenda that says way more about him than the topic he discusses. He suggests steering Lithgow away from what he wants to sincerely articulate. Wow, he don't get it. What a puke. He's still around. When will he be gone for good? Don't watch. A few million of us think the tributes are well-deserved. Perhaps Fox News and Newsmax are more to your liking. So you can't even say, and again, this is Variety, you can't even say this is kind of ridiculous, the amount of tributes that Stephen Colbert is getting, without them accusing you of being a fascist or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. So this guy's actually Variety's chief correspondent. Let's talk about Sean Penn, The View, Savannah Guthrie. Everybody's talking about Savannah Guthrie. Stone. Yeah. I mean, this guy, yeah, this isn't like he's got some agenda. He's just like, hey, it's kind of weird to see them, basically fellate Stephen Colbert on air repeatedly when we know damn well he's going to go do something else after this. I'm just saying, it's kind of like comic books. They cancel a comic series. You're like, oh yeah, they're going to reboot it next month. So what's the big deal? Like, oh my God, it's the last issue of Spider-Man, guys. Last issue, better buy it. Oh, next month we got all new Spider-Man #1. That's basically what it is. I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.